Welcome everyone to another fun-filled race weekend here at SRL, where we get ready to do round 10, Great Britain of Season 8 here on the PS platform, F1 2022. So we try to get things underway here, and it's a big day for SRL. It is 7 years to the date that they established their league and ran their first season. Their first season ran for basically half a season, and then we are now in season 8, and I have been here for 4 of the seasons, I believe, at least 4. And apparently my cat wants to say hi as well. And we've got Sandro Julius and Lewis Marshall on the live chat. So I'm trying to get situated here, and I apologize about that, coming in late, but getting ready to run round 10. It's going to be a 18-minute short qualifying session followed by a 50% race, and what a more proper track to bring in the 7th anniversary of SRL than where Formula 1 basically originated in Great Britain, coming off of round 9, which was Canada last week. And it was a doozy as Tim Ventic took his first, actually it took his, was that his first pole position of the season? I do believe it was. Logan Aron has been taking most of the poles this season, but just missed out last week in the wet weather. He tried to make a last-minute dash, and Tim Ventic walked away with the pole position. Not only that, but he walked away with a whole slew of points, as Logan Aron had a big mistake in the last lap of the race, cost him all the points that he was trying to earn. Jensen Randall would walk away with the win last week. It was his first win of the season as a reserve driver. Tim Ventic earns his 7th podium of the season in 9 rounds. And SRL debutant Freya Belay from Ethiopia came across with his first podium for SRL, finishing 3rd. Sandro Julius had a great run to 4th. Vincenzo Torri finished 5th. Nick Van Gelder was 6th after making a mistake on the last lap. Jesper Lempinen was 7th. Robin Herterstegen was 8th. Nicolo Falzarezzi was 9th. And Luke Smith came home 10th. And Logan Aron would finish in the 13th position. Lost all of his points, and he also lost the points lead in the championship point standings. Tim Ventic was able to capture those points and jump himself up into the first place position. Tim has now 141 points to his credit. Logan Aron still with 131, and Oleski as well had a DNF last week, so Oleski, the big 3, not able to add to his points total. Oleski still sitting in 3rd with 104 points. So Oleski picked up his first DNF of the season last week, so did Cameron Weston Edwards. And Brian Power had not only his 4th DNF of the season, but his 4th in a row. And we've got Nick Van Gelder on the live chat saying he's not sure if he's going to be able to make it. Senna Haywire saying congrats. And Nick Van Gelder saying he's got an unexpected update. I don't know, Nick, maybe turn the game on throughout the course of the week just to see if there's an update before the race actually comes. Oh, Nick. I will never forget his TED Talk on time management. But coming into today's race, round 10, we're going to run down the driver lineup. We've got Sandro Julius in the Ferrari, as always. Senna Haywire in the Aston Martin. Alexi still rocking the AlphaTauri. Cameron Weston Edwards in the McLaren. Vincenzo Torri is going to be in the Alfa Romeo. Robin Herterstegen in the McLaren. Logan Aron, the American, in the Haas. Brian Power in the Williams. Tim Ventic also in the Haas, and we're going to talk more about them in a minute. Jo Marusic in the Red Bull. Luke Smith will be in the other AlphaTauri today. Wakanda 23 FC. I believe that is Freya Belay. I don't know why he's in a Red Bull, though. And Max Mulder coming off of last week's, if anybody's tuned in for last week SRL, Max Mulder is the latest winner of the 2.4 Hours of Le Mans on Project Cars 2. Nicolo Falzarezzi will be in the Alfa Romeo. Dion Stahl in the other Ferrari. Ivan Brito going to be joining us once again in the Aston Martin. Jensen Randall will be in his old stomping ground in the Mercedes-AMG Petronas. And I'm KAMIKAZE-FOX, bringing you all of today's action as I believe we're waiting to see if Nick can actually get in. So 7 years to the day SRL kicked off. And the little bit of time that I've been doing it for the league, I have to say, Season 4 was probably the most exciting when Nick Van Gelder won his championship, and it's very reminiscent of what we're experiencing currently, because if anybody was around for Season 4, there was a huge title battle between Francis McGinn and Vasilios Beletiosis in the racing points, and there was no love lost between those two teammates. And ultimately, neither one of them won the championship, and it went to Nick Van Gelder. And we're seeing some of that start to crop up here between the Haas teammates of Tim Ventic and Logan Aron. There is no love lost between those teammates. Tim made it very clear what his stance was last week as a teammate when he left pretty much little to no room on the backstretch for Logan to make a pass. Logan ended up brushing the wall. Now, Logan is a bit hot-headed, and ultimately he could have walked away with a big chunk of points and basically the win had he not tried to make a last-ditch effort on the last lap that he didn't need to make, trying to make a pass on Jensen Randall, and ultimately he didn't crash out, but he did go off track. He was up against the wall. Jurma Rusic gave him a nice shove as he was sitting there trying to wait for the traffic to go by, and things just didn't work out for Logan the way that they should have. He's been caught out a few times this season with the safety car. Safety car seems to come at the most inopportune time for Logan, but last week, even with the safety car, he didn't have to do anything but stand his ground, and he didn't do that, and it ended up costing him not only the win, but all of the points garnered. So 18 drivers for today's race. Nick saying those were the days for Season 4. Yes, that was when you won your championship. So we're waiting to see who's going to go out on track first as I check my notes here real quick. Yes, Wakanda Forever. Wakanda 23 FC. Free Abile in his second ever SRL race. So, good on him. He was my driver of the day last week. And it looks like we've got our first driver is going to be Oleski. He is usually the first one out on track. It looks like we've got Tim Ventic out there as well. Actually, no, that is going to be Logan. Logan Aron, and Luke Smith has retired from the session. He's just not going to participate in qualifying, never does. Let's get some lap data and some track map up for everybody. So the past few rounds of qualifying, we've seen Logan Aron go out late because of wet conditions. He would sit and wait for the wet conditions to improve, try and run a lap at the last minute. Worked out for him once, but it didn't work out for him last week. He just missed out on pole position. That gave away to Tim Ventic to walk away with the pole. His first pole position of the season. Logan coming around the final corner, going to start our first hot lap of the day for him as he heads down into turn 1. Be it as it may, Logan Aron, not only is he one of the fastest drivers in SRL, but he is a pad driver as well. A lot of these other guys use steering wheels and different types of rigs. Should be noted, Logan does all of this with just his hands on the controller. This is not the easiest thing to do, as we've seen in years past. Runs a little wide coming out of that corner, trying to get the power down. Cuts across the old pit road. Oh, and he runs it very wide there, invalidates his time, and that's going to ruin it. See Jensen diving into the pits. We'll pick up Dion Stahl. It might be Oleski is going to be... Oleski should set the first official qualifying time. So he comes across the line. We'll see what he's going to set. 1:27.682. First lap time as we're 4 minutes into the session already. One of the Alfa Romeos is going to come across. That's Niccolo Falzaresi, 1:28.108. Here comes the McLaren. That's going to be Cameron Wesson Edwards. He goes third quickest with a 1:31.466. Pick up Max Mulder. He'll be the next one across the line. Max Mulder coming off of that 2.4 hours win at Le Mans last week, 1:28.621. Max has made a case for himself in the Endurance Racing League on Project Cars 2. He has won multiple races now. Yellow flag 5's got Christian Dorman coming across, 1:29.876. Here comes another. This should be one of the Alpines. We'll pick up Sandro Dulius. Yet to set a time. We'll pick him up as he starts his hot lap. Sandro had a great run last week. Timing penalties cost him the podium finish. That gave way to Free Abile, picking up his first podium of the season. Down the back straightaway, DRS slot open. Sandro currently 5th in the point standings, got 66 points to his credit. Obviously the big three, Tim, Logan, and Oleski all have 100 points plus. Whoa, and a big twitch there by Sandro coming out of that corner. Down through this very high-speed section here. Whoa, and around goes Sandro. If he'll get going again and try and come around and do it again, we'll pick up his... Oh, and look at that. Free Abile just went second quickest in the Alpine. 1:27.777. He's the only other driver besides Oleski to crack into the 1:27s. We're going to ride along with Robin Herderstag, and he should be the next driver across the line to set a time. Down to the old front straightaway, the old pit road. A little cautious through that right-hander. A little cautious through here as well. This is where Sandro lost it, comes back out onto the straightaway. Tiptoeing his way through the last couple of corners, trying to come around to the front straightaway. What kind of time is he going to set? He goes 8th quickest with a 1:34.93. Dion Stahl manages to set a time at a 1:45.418. And we are going to pick up Brian Power. Brian Power is on an out lap. He actually has a qualifying ban. He's allowed to make a setting. He's allowed to go on an out lap and go back into the pits, he's not allowed to set a time. If he sets a time, then he's going to just make things worse for himself. As we talked, 4 DNFs this season for Brian Power. Not just 4 DNFs, but 4 in a row. He was a little upset about his qualifying ban, but unfortunately he caused an incident last week. There's no way to penalize him because of the DNF other than a qualifying ban. Yo Marusic, it should also be noted, has a qualifying ban as well. And Brian is going to dive into the pit, so he's abiding by the rules, which is good to know. I'm going to pick up Senna Hayware. He's going to be the next one across the line to set a time. So only 10 drivers have set a time here. 9 minutes left to play in the session. We're halfway through. Only half of the drivers have set time so far. See, Jensen Randall has retired from the session as well. I must have missed that. Senna sets a time, 8th quickest, 1:29.525. Good effort by him. Vincenzo Torri should be the next one across the line. He goes 6th quickest, 1:28.362. And here comes Christian Dorman across the line. Does not improve his time. He's still locked in at 1:29.876. It looks like we've got an AlphaTauri. Is that a Lesky? Looks like Aleski might have had an issue as he dives into the pits. Nicolo Falzaresi's on a invalidated lap time, but he's going to be able to start another hot lap. But right now, 1:28.108 for Falzaresi. Friabile's on an out lap. Going to ride along with Falzaresi. Falzaresi does have a pole position to his credit this year so far. See if he can get another one today. Currently 4th quickest. 1:27.336 is your provisional pole set by Logan Aram. Long ago, Tim Bentic, his biggest rival, was a second off of that at 1:28.358. Could this be the day that Logan's able to try and take some of those points back that he lost out on last week as we continue to ride along with Falzaresi down the old front straightaway? Sweeping right-hander. Down through hangers and Beckett's. This is where Sandro lost his car. You see it very twitchy there. He's a 10th up over his previous time. That wouldn't necessarily improve his position, but more time is more time. Another sweeping right-hander back out onto this short chute here. As he heads down to the very tight left-hander and then the hairpin. And a 1:27.796 improves his time, but not his position. Now 5 drivers have cracked into the 1:27s as Tim Bentic just went 1:27.688. Still 0.3 of a second off, but he's now right behind Aleski. So the big 3, Tim, Aleski, and Logan, are all running in the top 3 positions. What is going on here, gang? There we go. We pick up Ivan Brito. Ivan's on an out lap. Pick up Friabile. Looks like he might be on a hot lap. That's quite a different engine tone from one of these cars, and he is going to be off the pace, I can tell. Pick up Cameron Weston Edwards. He's going to be... Nope, he's going to dive into the pits. Looks like everybody's going to dive into the pits. They can pick up Christian Dorman in the Williams. Looks like he's off the pace as well, so... Freab is on a timed lap, but he's heading back into the pits. He's off pace. Christian Dorman off pace. Pick up Senna Haywire. He's going to be coming out on an out lap. And Senna trying to put some heat into those tires, wiggling it back and forth, doing the old Michael Schumacher victory dance. So realistically, Senna is going to be one of 3 cars out on track right now. Senna Haywire is going to be coming across the line to start a hot lap. Ivan Brito, his teammate, I believe, is on a hot lap. He's yet to set a time, though. 16th current qualification. Ivan has been struggling a lot this season with handling on this particular car. The handling model this year has been a little bit different. Floor damage is now a factor, which I'm sure has caused him quite a few things. He's invalidated his lap time here, so that's not going to do him any good. And he dives into the pits. We'll pick up Nicolo Falzarezzi. He's currently on an out lap. Nicolo trying to put some heat into those tires. We're going to jump over to Ivan Brito. Ivan dived into the pits, I'm sorry. We want to go to Senna Haywire. Nope, Senna's also on a... So Cameron Weston Edwards just now coming out of the pits. He's on an out lap. This is Vincenzo Torri currently on an out lap. Max Mulder's behind him on an out lap. Nicolo Falzarezzi getting ready to do a last-ditch effort here. Power down, comes across the line to start a hot lap. 1:54 left to play in the session. So he'll have enough time to do this lap and one more if he wants to. Caution flag in Sector 3. That's for Cameron Weston Edwards, just going slow. So Jensen Randall has not set a time, retired from the session. Jurma Rusic has a qualifying ban. Brian Power has a qualifying ban. Luke Smith does not participate in qualifying. He's not going to set a time. Ivan Brito and Sandro Dulius are the only 2 drivers, realistically, that are eligible for qualification that have not set a time. It's kind of unusual on Sandro's part as we ride along with Nicolo Falzarezzi. Currently 5th quickest, 1:27.796. Trying to watch the track map to see what drivers are going to be where as we ride along with him. Tiptoeing his way through Hangers and Beckett's. Looks like Nick Van Gelder is going to be able to participate in today's race. So that'll be another driver that won't be setting a time, but he will be able to participate. Looks like he's just getting in. Senna Haywire has retired from the session. It looks like he's had an off at the Hangers and Beckett's area. His time's going to be locked in. Falzarezzi coming across the line because he improved his time and position. 1:27.762, still only good enough for 5th quickest. Vincenzo Torri retires from the session. We'll pick up Oleski, who's 1:27.374. And it looks like we've got a McLaren, possibly Cameron Weston Edwards off at the last corner. He's going to go down the short chute. Could be Robin Herderstagen as well. Whoever it was is diving into the pits. We've got another car off here. One of the Mercedes, possibly Max Mulder getting out of the way. We'll pick up Tim Bentic. Time is up. Hot laps will count. Does Tim have anything as Oleski dived into the pit? Whoa, and a big wiggle there by Tim Bentic trying to get the power down. He knows he lost it, so he's not going to be able to do it. Abile 127.387. He's currently purple in Sector 1. Can Freab come off of his podium finish last week and snatch himself a pole from Logan Aron? Freab Bile with a 127.188, 1/1000th of a second quicker than Logan Aron for pole position. Unbelievable run by Freab Bile. Wakanda forever. And that is going to do it for qualifying. What a run. In the Alpine former Racing Point car. Still got the pink BWT sponsorship. All of that, it should be noted, Sandro Dulius was able to set a time, looked like he was 7th quickest. What a way to finish the qualifying session. You see there, Freab Bile going to be starting from pole. Logan Aron misses out by 1/1000th of a second. Oleski is 3rd, Tim Bentic is 4th, Nicolo Falzarezzi will be 5th, Sandro Dulius is 6th, Max Mulder 7th, Vincenzo Torri 8th, Cameron Weston Edwards is 9th. Christian Dorman 10th, Senna Haywire crashed out on his final lap. He'll be starting in 11th. Same thing with Robin Herderstagen. Dion Stahl, rough day for him, only 13th. And then 14 through 18 is all going to be drivers that either had a qualifying ban or did not set a time. And then we should be able to add Nick Van Gelder to that. 19 drivers for today's race. So we just got done doing the 18-minute short qualifying session. We're now going to do a 50% race. It was bright and sunny for qualifying. Freab Bile with an amazing lap, 1/1000th of a second. I don't think I've seen a closer time set between first and second. That might be an SRL record. I would have to have Sandro double check that, but that is the closest margin I've seen commentating for this league. And what a way to kick off the 7th year anniversary of SRL. A newcomer who made his debut last week. It's a podium position. He comes out this week swinging, snatches the pole position out from championship contender. And he's from Ethiopia. He's the first Ethiopian SRL driver and the only Ethiopian person I know that even has video games. Which doesn't say much. I don't know any Ethiopian people, but here he is making a name for himself here in SRL. What a way to kick off 7-year anniversary. So Freab Bile, coming off of his first podium, has his first pole position of the season. He'll be followed by Logan Aron, who's going to try and make up for last week's mistakes. If he can keep his head cool, cooler heads usually prevail. He'll be starting in the 2nd position. Oleski, part of the big 3, going to be starting in 3rd, and behind him, Tim Bentic. Those are your 3 championship points leader. Tim with 141, Logan with 131, and Oleski with 104. Nicolo Falzarezzi, who had a pole position to his credit earlier this season, is starting in the 5th position. See if maybe he can be ruin the party for the big 3. Sandro Dulius coming off of a great run last week at Canada. Will be starting on the medium tires. Will be starting in 6th position. And Max Mulder coming off of last week's 2.4 hours of Le Mans victory, where he won in spectacular fashion. A dominant victory for him in the Toyota Gazoo Racing. Vincenzo Torri is going to be starting in 8th. He'll be looking to try and move through the field. Maybe he can snatch himself a podium as well. Cameron Weston Edwards Had a DNF last week at Canada. Going to be looking to make up for that as he's made the switch from part-time to full-time driver for this season. He's starting in the 9th spot. Christian Dorman also had a bad run last week. Only finished in 11th. Couldn't put any points on the board. He's going to be starting in the 10th spot. Senna Haywire is going to be starting in 11th. Crashed out on his last qualifying effort. Robin Harderstagen will be in 12th. And Dion Stahl, poor qualifying effort on his part. Struggled with the grip of the car. He'll be starting in the hards, try and run it deep. Jensen Randall didn't set a time, but he did win last week. We know he can work his way through the field. Could he be a spoiler today as well for the Big Three and newcomer Free Abile? Joel Marusic had a qualifying ban due to an incident, along with Brian Power. Ivan Brito unable to set a time. Luke Smith did not qualify. He never does. He does the Kyle Larson, starts in the back, runs to the front. And Nick Van Gelder was able to get his game updated. Not able to set a time, but he's going to be starting all the way in the back. He's got a lot of fast drivers in front of him, and he tries to heat up those tires. Five red lights. Lights out. Time to run what you brung. They're away in a puff of smoke, and it's a good start by Free Abile. Here comes Oleski on the outside. Logan gets a good start as well, and gets his nose chopped, and cars are running wide. Around goes Cameron Weston Edwards, I believe. Nope, that was Robin Herterstagen, and Ivan Brito and Brian Power are out of the session already. Full course safety car. So that is 5 DNFs in a row for Brian Power. Ivan Brito is going to be extremely disappointed. We didn't get to see what happened. It was in the back of the field. We did see Robin Herterstagen's car go around. And that is what started the melee here on lap 1, turn 1. So we see immediately Nick Van Gelder and Luke Smith have worked their way into 14th and 15th position. Jensen Randall is already up into 12th. So safety car deployed already. I wonder if we'll have any takers. It'd be too early for anybody to do any type of tire strategy. It really would. So Logan is still in second. Tim Ventic was able to jump Oleski and get into the 3rd position. Other than that, not much has changed in the top 10. Cameron Weston Edwards, I thought it was his car that went around, but it was Robin Herterstagen. Christian Dorman. Sandro Dulius is going from 6th to 10th, and it looks like we did have a couple of takers. Now these guys are probably a little bit further in the back. They might have some wing damage, just as we got Jensen Randall diving into the pits. Dion Stahl. So Dion is away. Oh. Is there unsafe releases in this game? And we see Nick Van Gelder also diving into the pit. So these guys had to get fresh set of shoes, fresh wings, that I would imagine. So Free Abile, what a way to kick off 7th year anniversary. Lap 1, turn 1, massive crash, lose 2 drivers. And now you've got Logan Arond, followed by Tim Ventic. Both on hard, so nothing unusual there. So this will be interesting to see how Freeab plays the safety car. This will give us an indication on his restarts. Does he like to play some games like some of the other drivers? Does he cut and dry and just go when you get to the start finish? But all eyes are going to be on Logan Aron and Tim Ventic. Again, no love lost between those teammates. And they're only teammates in the sense that they drive the same car. That's it. There's no team orders between those guys. There's no working together between these guys. Logan was very hot last week after Tim left him, as I said, little to no room on the back straightaway at Canada. I mean, the rules are you have to leave a car length, and Tim left him just that, and no more, and possibly a little less. We see Jensen Randall diving back into the pits. Don't know if Jensen put the wrong tires on his car, or maybe he's just making the switch to get the compound regulation out of the way, and now he can run whatever he wants throughout the course of the rest of this race. And we've got Oleski, who's been falling off of the championship points battle a little bit the last couple of races. He's mentioned it a couple times. He already feels like his championship chances are over, but that's just not the case. There's still a lot of racing left this season. Oleski can still get some of these points on the board, close this gap. You never know what's going to happen. We learned that last week with Logan Rond. And Lewis Marshall saying if Jensen switched back to the hards, then he could probably run the rest of this race on the hard tires. So shouldn't be one to question Jensen Randall. He holds every major SRL record in Formula One racing. Most wins, points, fastest laps, poles, you name it. It's Jensen Hamilton all over again. So hopefully we'll get the indication that the safety car will be in on this lap, and then Friat Bilé will be the control car. There we go, race control, safety car in this lap, so Friat Bilé will be the control car. We'll see what kind of games, if any, he plays for the restart. Also makes you wonder if this will be the last safety car we see today, since we've been averaging about 3 safety cars a race. But Silverstone it's a big track, it's a wide track. And it looks like we might be we are back up and running full speed as Bilé comes across the line. Gaps himself to Logan Rond just a little bit. And look at this. What happened to Oleski? Oleski pitted like way late, and Jensen Randall has retired from the session. What happened to Jensen? Caution flag flies in sector 1. Oleski dived into the pits, it looked like. A lap too late. Falls all the way to the back of the pack, 15th. Jensen Randall just crashed out. Christian Dorman looks like he might have been involved in that a little bit. And now Tim Ventic is closing the gap on Logan Rond as Friat Bilé and Logan and Tim are now pulling away over Nicolo Falzaresi. So the top 3 all within a second of each other. And then there's a gap back to Falzaresi. Falzaresi's got Max Mulder all over the back of him. And behind him is Cameron Weston Edwards. And he's bringing Vincenzo Torri with him. And Vincenzo Torri all over the back of Cameron Weston Edwards. No DRS just yet. This is the first lap of green flag racing that we've had, actually. First full lap. Oh, a little bit of aero wash on the front end there of Vincenzo Torri's Alfa Romeo. And looks like Logan Falzaresi's got the fastest lap of the race so far. A lot of these guys are so close together. Hard to figure out which battle to watch. Caution flag flies, sector 1. Who's that? Looks like that's another car around. Christian, nope, is that Oleski again? And Oleski might have some floor damage, maybe possibly giving some handling issues. But Oleski's race has fallen apart real quick here in the opening laps of this Grand Prix. Hop on board with Tim Ventic. Ventic in pursuit of Logan Arand. Logan Arand in pursuit of Friabile. We see Dion Stahl making a pass on Yurma Lucic for the 11th position. Still no DRS just yet. That should be coming next lap. And Luke Smith, who started in the 18th position, has made his way up in the 10th. Cameron Weston Edwards looks like he's had an issue. And Cameron was running in the top 10. Looks like he's had an issue. He's fallen all the way back to... Oh, and he's lost the back end of the car. Is he trying to get into the pits? Caution flag flies sector 2, and he is all the way back and down into 14th now. We're back to the battle of the top 3 with DRS is now enabled, so Friabile will hanging on 9/10 of a second gap. He's going to try and get over that 1 second threshold, but and then you've got Tim Ventic in hot pursuit of Logan Arand. Battle for the championship right there. Caution flag flies sector 2. That's going to be Robin Hernerstagen and Jurma Rusic. Looks like Marusic has gone around. Christian Dorman having an issue as well. They're back to green flag racing. Cameron Weston Edwards getting around Jurma Rusic. Oleski loses another spot. Oleski still floating down in the 15th position. Caution flag flies sector 2. That's going to be Christian Dorman now. Christian Dorman having some handling issues. Trying to keep up with everything going on track. Meanwhile, we've got Sandro Dulius is all over. We've got a 3-car battle here. This is 5th, 6th, and 7th. Logan Arand just ran the fastest lap of this race. Sandro loses a little bit of time coming out of that final corner. So Max Mulder running 5th. He's got Vincenzo Torri all over the back of him. And Torri's got Dulius all over the back of him. Sandro, last of the late breakers, gaining some time heading into that corner. Hard on the brakes. Caution flag flies sector 3. And that's going to be Cameron Weston Edwards again. And Luke Smith is getting around center haywire. That's going to be 8th now for Luke Smith. So Vincenzo Torri now has closed the gap 0.3 of a second back. Torri trying to downshift and tiptoe his way through the hangers of Beckett's. Back out on the back straightaway now. DRS slot open. And he's in striking distance now. Oh, and a good move. Mulder trying to hang tough. They make contact. And around goes Mulder. And Sandro misses him by a hair. Sandro moves into 6th place. Meanwhile, battle for the lead. Logan Arand less than half a second back from Friabile. Power down. So Max Mulder's going to dive into the pits. Logan trying to run a little bit of a different line, it looks like, than Friab, trying to get some air on that front nose, get that car to turn a little bit better. as we continue to ride along with Logan. A lot of action here on these first 8 laps of this race. This has been a very intense Grand Prix so far. Caution flag, Sector 3, that's going to be Christian Dorman again. Rehab able to get the power down and get that car rotated just a little bit better coming into that final corner. Caution flag, Sector 2. Looks like that's going to be that Christian Dorman again. Nick Van Gelder getting up into the 9th position as Senna Haywire dives into the pits. Senna's going to lose a couple of spots. Oleski getting by him up into 11th now. So Oleski just on the outside of getting some points. Caution flag still flying in Sector 2. That's for the same car. Meanwhile, we'll go back to Sandro Dulius. He's all over the back of Vincenzo Torri. Great shot there of these two cars coming down through the short chute here. Sandro's going to have the DRS. This is Sandro's chance. He's within striking distance. This is where Max Mulder had his issue side by side. And look at this Vincenzo Torri hanging tough on the outside. Oh, he's going to get pushed wide. Vincenzo with some great defensive driving. Sandro being a little more cautious than most drivers. Trying to leave enough room between both cars. Great racing by these two. Some wheel-to-wheel action. Sandro coming back one more time now. Meanwhile, back at the front. This is the closest Logan Aron has been, and Logan and Friabile have been able to pull away from Tim Ventic. Ventic is now outside of the DRS zone. Tim made that up, though. He made up half a second gap through Hangers and Beckett's. DRS open for Logan as he tries to go around the outside. Crossover move. Can't get the power down just yet. Going to try and sweep to the outside. He's setting himself up for the next corner. Freeab's going to push him wide just a little bit. Caution flag flies. Sector 3. Looks like that's a Ferrari. Was that Sandro that's gone around? It is Sandro. Looks like Sandro had an issue while he was battling. He's going to stay out on track. Race control. 3-second time penalty for Cameron Weston Edwards. He's the first driver of the day to pick up a timing penalty. Sandro falls to 7th. Here comes his teammate Dion Stahl. Meanwhile, we've got Nick Van Gelder trying to hold off a couple of hard chargers. We've got Robin Herterstegen and Oleski. Oleski just outside of the points, running in 11th. And if Oleski wants to try and keep his championship hopes alive, he has struggled the last couple of races, but he's got to get some points on the board today if he wants to try and stay in that battle. Meanwhile, we go back to the battle for the lead. It's now a 3-car battle again. Looks like Tim Ventic. He was 1.2 seconds back a couple of laps ago. He's back within striking distance of Logan Aron. It's now a 3-car battle for the lead of this race. Friabile, newcomer, making his debut last week. He gets a podium finish. He gets the pole today. He's been leading the race since lap 1. We're now in lap 11. Logan hasn't been able to find a way around him. And Freab dives into the pits, so Logan is now going to be the leader of this race. He's going to bring Tim Ventic, so it's a Haas 1-2. They won't look at it like that in their eyes, though. They're going to look at it as it's a championship battle. Tim Ventic trying to catch Logan Aron. That's going to move Niccolo Falzaresi and Vincenzo Torri into 3rd and 4th, respectively. Luke Smith, he has quietly made his way into the 5th position. Sandro Julius able to make his way back into 6th after Friabile pits. So Bile was the leader of this race. He's the first one to pit. He comes out in 11th. He's right behind Robin Herderstagen. Oleski moves into 8th position. Senna Haywire is going to be the second driver today to pick up a timing penalty. He's currently riding in 14th position. Meanwhile, Logan Aron out in front in control of this race. So now it becomes a game of chicken. Both of these drivers are on hard tires, so who's going to be the first one to pit? And it looks like it's going to be Logan's going to be the first one to pit. So now Tim Ventic will become your leader. He runs the fastest lap of this race with clear skies ahead. 1:31.013 all by his lonesome. Jensen Randall has officially left the session after crashing out. Kind of surprising. We don't see Jensen often get a DNF. So Logan dives into the pits. Vincenzo Torri dives into the pits. Sandro Julius dives into the pits. Things getting shuffled around right now. Luke Smith finds himself in 3rd position. Meanwhile, we'll pick up Bile. I'm probably saying his name wrong, but whatever. Bile has now made his way up into the 8th position, all over the back of Nick Van Gelder. Van Gelder on the older mediums. Fresh hards for Bile. And he's going to have the DRS. This should make easy work of Nick Van Gelder. Nick's not going to put up much of a fight. He knows he can't. And Bile is down into the 7th position. And I guess that's possibly Gabriel Nicolodi is saying Logan pit assist. I don't know if he's insinuating that Logan was using pit assist. I don't know how you would determine that watching the live stream. Senna Haywire picks up another 3-second time penalty. So Oleski is now behind Logan Aron, who we were just talking about. Logan, fresh set of tires for him, so he'll be able to make quick work and pull away from Oleski, but Oleski up into the 6th position. Dion Stahl's now going to find himself in 3rd due to the pit sequence. And we've got a car off. And it looks like that's one of the Red Bulls, and we've got Tim Ventic and Oleski side by side. That was a weird exchange. I don't know. Big twitch there from Ventic. So Friabile, who was the first driver to pit, he was leading this race. That didn't work out for him. Logan Aron is essentially going to be the leader of this race. He's the first driver in the running order who has pitted. Falzaresi, Luke Smith, and Dion Stahl running 1st, 2nd, and 3rd currently. Still need to make a pit stop, but they can probably go a lot longer. It looks like Falzaresi is going to come in now. And Lewis Marshall, one of the stewards, explaining that pit assist is enabled. we believe. And I believe they do use the pit assist in this game. Or I should say this league, so that's not anything out of the ordinary. I know a lot of leagues don't use it, but I mean, to be honest, SRL, I mean, it's really good racing. They're not the greatest racers in the world, and some of these guys, some of these back markers need the pit assist, so I know if I was racing, I would need the pit assist for sure. Logan Aron has now caught the back of Dion Stahl. Ooh, and that's a little tight there. Well, Dion gives way. Pressure tires and DRS will prevail. And now it is smooth sailing for Logan Aron. He's 8.3 seconds back from Luke Smith. Luke Smith yet to make a pit stop. He's got 14 lap hards. We're going to see how far Luke is going to go with those bad boys. But Luke up 17 positions. Meanwhile, the battle between Oleski and Tim Ventic continues. And Ventic gets a good run coming out of that corner, side by side down the straightaway. He's got the DRS. So Oleski trying to hang tough on the older tires. He made that pit stop at the wrong time earlier in the safety car. Back on lap 5. Dion Stahl's now going to pit. And Tim Ventic just ran the fastest lap of this race, a 1:30.2. And Gabriel is not happy that pit assist is used in this league, judging by his little emoji on the live chat. So Logan Aron, Tim Ventic, and Oleski essentially running first, second, and third after Luke Smith will make his pit stop at some point. Friad Belay is working up on Oleski now. He was the leader of this race. Guess he pitted at the wrong time. Strategy did not work out for Belay, but still running a great race. And it kind of makes you wonder, yes, it's only a second race, but he's now had a podium, a pole position. He's led some laps. He's showing how quick he can be. It'd be interesting to see where he would be in the points standings had he started this season off with us like everybody else. And Belay now coming down. Oh, almost made a move on Oleski heading into that corner, but that was a little tight. And Oleski is going to dive into the pit, so that's going to give up the position. Friad Belay will get 4th spot, which is essentially going to become 3rd place because Luke Smith has yet to pit. And Luke running in 1st position. He's got a 5.6 second lead over Logan Aron. Luke Smith started in the 18th position, doing the Kyle Larson, starting in the back, passing everybody, working his way to the front. Luke's going to run those hards as long as he can, possibly switch over to the softs towards the end, see what kind of points he can garner. You see Oleski dives into the pits, currently in the 8th position. He should come out in 8th. And things are separated a little bit. We do have a 3-car battle going on back here. Whoa, no, not 3-car, we're going 3 wide. That's Cameron Weston-Edwards, Dion Stahl, and Max Mulder, and that was 3 wide as they fanned out through there. Cameron's probably not going to be too happy about that. Gets sandwiched in the middle of those 2 cars. And it's a drag race down the straightaway. Max Mulder is going to get the position. Dion Stahl trying to come back. These guys both just came out of the pits. So Cameron Weston-Edwards in 11th. Would love to get that 1 spot, try and get some points on the board. We're going to ride along with Dion Stahl in the Ferrari. And Senna Haywire picks up another 3-second time penalty. I believe that's 9 seconds now for Senna. Dion Stahl on the outside of Max Mulder going into the corner. Dion's going to run it a little too wide. Cameron Weston Edwards has fallen off of this battle. And Cameron is going to pit. Dion unable to make that move work. So Cameron Weston Edwards is going to fall all the way back to 14th position. Nick Van Gelder picks up a time penalty, currently running in the 12th position. Now it should be noted Dion is racing with Max Mulder. Max has a time penalty as well, so Dion doesn't have to try too terribly hard to get by Max Mulder. 8 laps left in today's Grand Prix. And Luke Smith is finally coming into the pits. That's going to move Logan Arond up into the top position. Logan becomes the leader of this race, and all he's got to do is stay out in front of Tim Ventic. Tim is coming 2.1 seconds back. Free Belay is going to be third now. We'll see where is Luke Smith going to come out in the midst of all this. Started 18th, worked his way to first. He makes his lone pit stop. He's going to have fresh mediums. Kind of surprised he didn't switch over to softs. And Luke is going to come out in 6th position. So we'll see what kind of ground Luke Smith can make up on the rest of this field. Meanwhile, no pressure for Logan, or is there, because Tim Ventic is now 1.8 seconds back from the American. Meanwhile, Dion Stahl is still battling it out with Max Mulder for the 9th position. Jurma Rusic picks up a 3-second timing penalty. So the top 8 drivers do not have timing penalties, so nothing will change there. But Tim Ventic is coming with a head of steam. 1.6 seconds back now from Logan Arond. And we've got a caution flag flying in Sector 2. Looks like that's probably going to be... I believe that was Christian Dorman. Possibly could have been Jurma Rusic. 1.5 back now for Tim Ventic. Dion Stahl picks up a 3-second time penalty, so that's too bad for him. He was battling with Max Mulder, didn't have a time penalty until now. So now Dion wants that 9th position. Oh, and 3-second time penalty for Tim Ventic. That's huge. So Tim's coming 1.3 seconds back from Logan Arond, but Logan only has to stay within 3 seconds of Tim to win this race. As long as Logan does not get a timing penalty himself, Logan's still out in front, but that is huge right now. 6 laps remaining. Caution flag flies Sector 1. Looks like that's one of the... Was that Oleski? Oleski going around again. Oleski losing a couple of positions. He was running 8th, drops to 10th. Oleski having a really rough day. And now it looks like the timing has stabilized a little bit. Tim Ventic has been 1.4, 1.5 seconds back now after making up all that time. He did get the timing penalty, though. Logan doesn't have to do anything crazy. He can just maintain his pace, make Tim work for it. Realistically, if Tim wants the lead of this race, right now he's got to make up basically 4.5 seconds, because he's got to make up the 2.5 to Logan to begin with, and then he's got to get 3+ seconds on top of that. Luke Smith just ran the fastest lap of this race. 6th position he currently is in, 129. He's the first driver to crack into the 129s. He's 1.6 seconds back from Vincenzo Torri for the 5th position, so Meanwhile, there's a battle going on for the 11th spot between Senna Haywire and Nick Van Gelder. No points involved with that. Rough day for Nick. Take a look back from the Haas of Logan Aron as he looks back at Tim Ventic. Tim still 1.5 seconds back, so that timing is stabilized. Oh no! And Belay, looks like we've got possibly an internet issue. And Friab Belay has possibly having an internet issue. It says he left the session, so his car will be running in the 3rd position, but it is going to be running at AI pace, and that is going to be... He's going to lose a lot of time real quick. Here comes Nicolo Falzarezzi. He's going to be running in the 4th position. Friab Belay was having such a good run. Looks like he's lost the internet connection. His car is still out on track as AI now as he lost connection. Here comes Falzarezzi's car. That is really unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, Tim Ventic has closed the gap a little bit. 1.2 seconds now is the gap between Tim Ventic and Logan Aron. And Falzarezzi has gotten around Friab Belay's car. Falzarezzi's looking at a podium position. And 3-second time penalty for Christian Dorman. He's running in the 15th position. Meanwhile, Dion Stahl still running in 9th, still trying to find a way around. The caution flag, sector 1. Who is that? That's possibly, looks like that would be Christian Dorman as well. Whoa, and a big wiggle there by Tim Ventic. Tim's a smart driver. Tim's a smart driver, and Tim learned a lot about Logan last week in Canada. So I would have to imagine Tim at this point, Tim knows he can't necessarily win the race, but if he keeps pressuring Logan, he's probably going to try and pressure Logan into a mistake. We saw that happen last week, and Luke Smith picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's unfortunate for him. He's 0.6 of a second back from Vincenzo Torri. Caution flag flies sector 3. Looks like that was one of the Ferraris. It's possibly Dion Stahl running in the 10th spot. Oleski is now up into 9th. So Oleski, who's had a very up and down day, he's running in the 9th position, but that's essentially going to be 8th because he doesn't have a timing penalty and Max Mulder does. Continue to ride along with Tim Ventic. Tim, I think, is just trying to pressure Logan into a mistake. You never know what could happen. Logan butchered his race last week with a mistake while battling for the lead. Tim is now within a half a second of Logan Aron. And it looks like Oleski has finally gotten around. Nope, Max Mulder and Oleski, they're still battling side by side. We're not leaving this battle here for the lead. Actually, we might. What is going on here, game? Senna Haywire with another. And here we're going to pick up Luke Smith. He is all over the back of Vincenzo Torri. Luke's got a 3-second time penalty, though. I'm going to pick up Oleski. Oleski does not have a time penalty, so Max Mulder is essentially holding him up. And now we've got a battle for the lead now. This is Tim Ventic. He's within striking distance. Luke Smith's finally going to get past Vincenzo Torri, but Luke would have to make up a 3-second time penalty to try and hold on to that 5th position. Meanwhile, Tim's still trying to pressure Logan into a mistake with a couple of laps to go. Logan doesn't have to do anything. He could let Tim pass and just needs to stay within 3 seconds of him. We've seen Tim push the car a little hard a couple of times. A 3-second time penalty now for Oleski as he's battling it out with Max Mulder for the 9th position. Tim really deep into the corner there. So this is the battle to watch. Oleski does get around Max Mulder for 8th now. Tim runs a little wide coming out of that corner. Logan trying his hardest. He's going to try and DRS slot open. Tim's going to go for it. Side by side into the corner. Tim's going to take the position. Now that could be all for naught because all Logan has to do is stay within 3 seconds of Tim Ventic and not pick up a time penalty, and he's got the win of this race. Final lap. And Logan found himself in a similar position last week. He was running in second. He didn't have to do anything but finish second without a time penalty. He would have had the win of the race, but instead he tried to be the first one across the line. Tim with a big slide coming out of that corner, trying to get the power down, trying to separate himself from Logan. Logan within the DRS range. And Logan hopefully learning from his mistake last week. He doesn't have to do anything but finish within 3 seconds of Tim. Can he hold on to it? Can he keep his composure? Cooler heads prevail. Caution flag flies, sector 2. Looks like that was possibly Christian Dorman with a quick on-off. Half a second gap now. Back to Logan. Logan just trying to maintain his pace. Caution flag, sector 2 and 3. Looks like we had an issue there. That's possibly Christian Dorman. Jorma Rusic. Looks like that's Dorman that's going around. Dion Stahl picks up another 3-second time penalty. And even though Tim's going to come across the line first, it's going to be Logan Aron with the win. Nicolo Falzarezzi is going to come across the line in third. He'll easily be able to hang on to that position. Now, Free Abile's car is going to come across the line in fourth. And it's going to be an unofficial result, obviously. We'll have to double check with the rules, but I think he may be able to hang on to that even though he got disconnected. Vincenzo Torri is going to come across in fifth. Luke Smith from 18th to 6th. Led part of this race. Good on him. Sandro Dulius is 7th, and then you've got Oleski now. Oleski, so 8th on back is going to be interesting to see how the positions change. So Oleski is going to come across the line 8th. Max Mulder is behind him. That is, and then Dion Stahl is behind that. Do these guys get to keep their positions because of the timing penalties or not? And it looks like the top 10 is settled. Robin Herterstegen. Whoa, what is going on there? Senna Haywire coming in hot. And he's bringing Nick Van Gelder with him. Nick struggled throughout the course of this race. Nick's going to essentially get 12th, but that's not going to matter. No points on the board today for Nick Van Gelder. Their Season 4 champion is essentially finishing in the 13th position. And Free Abile saying that he got robbed of a podium for sure. Robbed of more than that, I'm not 100% on. internet connection issues for Free Abile, but I think he might be able to retain that 4th position. I think the rule, and I would have to double check with Sandro, I think the rule is as long as you do 80% of the laps, you should be able to keep your position. So here's Logan Aron, the American out of Pennsylvania, picking up another win over his teammate Tim Ventick. And I use that term loosely. They do not consider themselves teammates. But it is a Haas 1-2. So they'll easily walk away with the team championship this year, but the battle for the driver championship is still wide open. So Logan is still going to be second in points to Tim after last week's debacle. And mathematically, Oleski is still within championship contention, even though he has lost some ground. So unofficial results, Logan Aron, your winner for today's race. Tim Ventick is second. Nicolo Falzarezzi with third. Free Abile out of Ethiopia, fourth. Vincenzo Torri is fifth. Luke Smith is sixth. Sandro Dulius is seventh. Oleski with a very, very rough up-and-down day finishes eighth. Max Mulder, your Le Mans winner from last week, comes home ninth. And Dion Stahl manages to put a point on the board. Robin Herdestegen will be 11th. Nick Van Gelder struggled all day, was unable to qualify, finishes 12th. Cameron Weston Edwards, poor race for him as well, 13th. Senna Haywire in 14th. Christian Dorman 15th, and Jurma Rusic is 16th. Jensen Randall unfortunately crashed out along with Ivan Brito and Brian Power. Brian Power, his 5th DNF of the season and 5th one in a row. That was lap 1, turn 1 for him and Ivan Brito. Rough day for them for sure. What a race. What a race to capitalize to the day, 7 years SRL has been running their league. I don't know if it was planned that way or not, but it's a proper track. It was a proper Grand Prix, and what a way to celebrate 7-year anniversary of SRL here, Season 8, Round 10. So guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Instagram to keep up with all of news and notes moving into next week's race, to see what changes are happening. And we'll see how this championship battle plays out as we head out into the next round. I'm KAMIKAZE-FOX. This has been SRL, and we will see you all at the next race.